And good Monday to you all. I should say it's going to be a flashback Monday. I know usually it's flashback Fridays, but today we're going to have flashback Monday because we are continuing on, going to take a quick zoom through that poinsettia block, and I can't wait. I'm so excited to show and share with you some holiday makes that I have been personally working on. And let me tell you a little bit why I got these glasses. So stay tuned. Let's get into that poinsettia block and let's start the show. You're a mean one, Mr. Grinch. So, ordinarily, this is my year to say bah humbug, and I'm not all about Christmas, but welcome to the Quilt Stream. My name is Chip Connor, and we are going to get into some quilting. Today is Monday, November 29th. So glad to have you. And yeah, I'm not the Grinch. It's not me this year, and I'm going to tell you why. So I ordered some new glasses, and because my other ones are kind of getting older, and I went and got a new prescription, which was the same. So it really was just, you know, getting an updated pair of glasses. But they were delivered on Saturday, and our mailbox is right down the street. And when we get there, the mailbox was open. Nothing was in there. So somebody stole our mail, and it's kind of like, it makes you have a sick feeling. So forewarning, guys, it's the holiday season. Lots of packages. They may not be dropped off at your doorstep. Sometimes it's at the mailbox, and thieves are out in abundance. So I know this is the second thing that has been stolen from our mailbox, and it's just not right. I'm supposed to be the Grinch, not somebody else. So anyway, so this morning I get up and I'm getting ready for the quilt stream, and I'm having a good time. And don't you know, from this morning until I was just getting out of the shower, I have no idea where I put my glasses. So I had to resort to my flashback pair. I haven't worn these in like, gosh, 5-6 years, at least 5-6 years. And I can still read the screen, so it's all right, whatever. I know that, you know, I was trying to clean up and make, you know, you guys are my company, and I want to make sure that everything's nice and clean. And somewhere are my glasses, and I have torn things up again, and I just can't find them. So what are you going to do? All right, let's get to some other Grinches that might be in the room. Let's take Rob's roll call. So far, we've got Yoan, and we've got Fizz, Susan, Kathleen, Barb, Jesse, Fizz, Angel, Stuart, Kathleen, Emma, Rob, Tracy. So good to see you all. So if you are brand new to the show, I encourage you to meet the fine folks that are in the chat, or reach out to them afterwards in the comments below, because this is the best group. I am so happy that you guys are all part of this nonsense we call the YouTube. And we're going to make this a good time. So yeah, and actually it is a big day for me, because, not bragging or anything, but AccuQuilt has officially shared the news that I'm a go-getter on their Instagram page. So if you haven't seen it, go to their Instagram page. Aaron and I made a little video, and they announced, hey, this is one of our go-getters. So I am so excited. I am a brand ambassador, and we're telling the world. So we were on Friday working on the poinsettia block, and it wasn't until this year, I'm going to be honest with you, it wasn't until this year that I learned how to spell poinsettia, because I always thought it was Poinsettia, but there's no T. There's not a first T there. It's just You know, it's just the whole, it's like Downton Abbey. There's no T there. It's not Downtown Abbey. It's not Poinsettia. It's Downton, and it's a poinsettia. So, yeah. The more you know. I've just learned something, you know, close to 50. Hi. All right, so I'm going to do a quick flash forward and remind you to where we are. Today is going to be easy breezy. So you're going to, I ended up playing around with this all weekend, this poinsettia block, and I actually was, you know, thinking, oh, I could just do it without the strips, and yeah, you get the sawtooth star, which is very cool. Yoan over at Go Ahead and Make Me, he was so awesome. He made a sawtooth star when we were working on that a couple episodes ago, and he shared it with everybody, and it really, I just love how these colors vibrate, and you can clearly see there is that sawtooth star, and he ran with it. So I did the really basic, and he did all this other, he did a kind of a half square, and he just made all these hourglasses on point, and I just really, and then you got the chevron here. I really like the way that turned out. And so our lovely Tracy and Emma, so they also made some poinsettia blocks. They apparently got together this weekend and they had a Zoom call. And if you're not doing that with your friends, I wholeheartedly encourage it. Do a Zoom call with your sewing friends and make something together. So this was Tracy's, and she really ran with the with some beautiful holly, and I just think it turns out great. And I love actually these kind of modern geometric little green checkers that she got put together. And then let me show you Emma's. Boop, there we go. Emma's, she did hers with kind of a negative, so it's like a real dark background, and really it just pops, and I absolutely love it. I think Tracy's end up the same size as my block, and I don't know, actually Emma's is the same measurements as mine, and she just decided to do that gray background. And I would encourage you, if we're working on a project, please join the QuiltStream community, really get to know each other, upload your current makes that you're working on. It may inspire others, and it's a great place to meet people and just socialize. I encourage it. So, yeah, so I was ending up with the sawtooth, and we don't want that. But what was fun is that I kind of got a little detoured, and I was working and finding myself getting so obsessed about flying geese, and that's not what the project, that's not the assignment, as the kids say. So what we want is exactly what Tracy and Emma did, is having the sashing in between, and then it just really turns into that poinsettia block. So what you're going to want to do is grab 1.5 inch, at least 2 colors, because we're going to create that checkerboard. And then once you've sewn those together, you're going to press to the dark side, and you're going to create that strip. So this 1.5 and 1.5, and then you're going to cut those, and you need 8 of these guys out of the strip. So you're going to wind up with 8 of those, and then you're always pressing to the dark, so you're going to be able to nest those seams. And once you've done that, you're going to wind up with this piece. Then, this is what I discovered over the weekend that was making me much happier. Originally, I was creating the white little sashing that goes around this block, and I was doing that at 1.5 inches, and I was winding up with this particular block being a little bit too shy. I need it to be 3.5 inch. So this time what I did was I made this piece at 2 inches, and then you're going to do 2.5 because this measures out at 2.5. And then this one I did at 4 inches, and then you just trim. And this winds up being a perfect 3.5 by 3.5. So that takes care of the checker with the sashing. Then we're going to move on to, you can do it either way. You can either get, and I like to make, we're working on this bit, which is actually like you're flying geese. And you could either take two maybe 4-inch by 4-inch squares. You're going to want red and white, and then you can sew your 2 lines. You actually draw a line in the center and then sew your 2 lines, and then boom, you're going to wind up with 2 of these units. Now, I didn't do it that way. I actually took my AccuQuilt and I did the 4.5-inch half square triangle, and I sewed 8 of those to, is it 8? 2, 4, 6, 8. Yeah, sewed, no, it's more than that. It is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Yeah, there was 8. I did 8 pairs of those, so I'm considering a red and a white a pair. And then that's when I wound up with this guy, and then I just trimmed it down to the 3.5. So now, once I've got these that's perfectly square, and I used my lock block to went boom, 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 3.5, then we wind up with these 2 units together, and we're going to sew them as your first unit. So if you've done that, that's where we were on Friday. That was the heavy lifting, because there's a lot of cutting and sewing that you need to do. Now we're going to do, I'm going to show you, I need a little bit more view space. So I think we need this on this. We need that, this, nope. What did I do wrong? No, I was right. That, we need one in here too. So we need that, that, and this. And then each of these pairs measures 6.5. So 6.5, 6.5, each of those. And that's when you're going to take, we need sashing that's going to go in between. And that's what we're going to work on today. So if I have, and I just want to make sure I'm remembering correctly. There we go. Yeah, so we're going to have these 4, these 4, these, and these. And then we just need to add 1.5 inches, 1.5 inches wide here, 1.5 inches wide here, and here. So you're going to need 4 strips here, and then we're getting to it. And I actually went back to Emma's picture because I just want to make sure that I'm doing it right. So I'm going to take these, and we're going to make that a unit first. And let's come back here. And I just want to make sure that I'm going to get a nice even match to my seam. Yes. Oh, I need my little knee lift. And I was talking to a friend last night who was asking about, he was asking other people's advice whether or not he should unpick because he lopped off a point. And it really is, I think, in my opinion, that is a really good question. You know, it really depends how far, like let's say you're, as an instance, when you're creating like a flying geese and you've got that point at the end, it's a real struggle between being accurate and being realistic, because you don't want to overly unpick, because it really will wear out your fabric. It starts fraying. And then, you know, we're all our worst critics. But to me, I thought it was interesting. I mean, like, if you're asking whether or not we want to unpick something, you know, hey guys, what do you think? I think what we're really actually looking for is reassurance of what we already know. So reassuring your own confidence, and, you know, we just want to hear, you know, does somebody really agree? Am I on the right path? So the answer is already, I think you usually have the right answer. And I would probably err on the side of go ahead and unpick it, because otherwise you're going to be constantly looking at it in the future saying, I wish I unpicked that. But, you know, like, I know done is sometimes better than perfect. I know that I get caught up in trying to be really good and like, oh, I'm doing masterful piecing. But really, am I getting anywhere? How many projects am I actually going to complete in a year? All right, so once I've got that, I'm going to give it a quick press. And then I'm going to square this up, because I can see that I was a little sloppy there. Tracy and Emma, for you ladies, you lovely ladies, I would love to know, how long did it actually take you from start to finish in real world time to put together your one full block? Here is a great one. Here's a great example. I found myself, it's taken me quite a long time, maybe a couple of hours to do one full block. And I know that I really don't take a lot of breaks when I'm in the zone. All right, so this is a good example. This might be the time that you go to your friends and you say, hey, would you unpick this? See, there's a seam here and then my seam here, so they actually don't line up. I don't know if you can make that out, but there you go. So see how this is not, I mean, like, that's kind of far off in my opinion. So seam ripper it is, because I don't like it. Can you actually hear that? I think I'm not even pulling that hard and you can hear it really well. And I think partly is that I try not to go so fast. So when I'm saying it's taken me a couple of hours to assemble and do all this cutting and like figuring out, you know, like, hey, how many blocks? I think the first one, and just like Tracy says, the first one is probably going to turn out like your pancake recipe. So the first pancake that you make in the kitchen when you're making breakfast doesn't turn out. And after that, once the oil's really hot and you've got the mixture just right, then everything starts humming along and your pancakes are beautiful. But the first one is always ugly, and you give that to whichever kid you're pissed off at or your spouse. You're like, and make sure that one's on top. So let's see if we can do that one better. And did we get an answer? Let me come back to the chat. Oh, Stuart, that is absolutely, I am exactly like you. I will pick some unpick and resew and unpick and resew. If I cannot sew it into submission by that time, the fourth time, yeah, I'll move on too, because you're just that poor fabric just isn't going to, it's not going to happen. Let it go. It's not consenting to work for you. All right, let's see. Let's see if we got, maybe Tracy popped out, but we'll see what they say for how long. And Rob, what happened to your machine? Oh no, so Rob says the buttons on his new Janome stopped working yesterday, so off to the shop it goes. I hope it's something quick and easy, and he did say that it's under warranty. Oh gosh, well, this is a man who does have a lot of hobbies, so I hope it's really, really quick, especially since you just got your machine, so good luck, Rob. Well, actually, you still have your little brother. You have a backup. Haha. Okay, so this one, it was worth it. Love it. Okay, so I've got those. Oh no! I'm so busy chit-chatting, and I didn't get the assignment. Oh no! I was so into Rob's machine that I sewed this backwards. So Stuart, this is number 2. And Cyber Monday, talking about Cyber Monday, is that the lock block rulers, I just found out, if you haven't already purchased, they are either 20 or 25% off over at the lock block storefront. So that is exciting. So if you didn't get the discount, you got them through another store, you might want to take them back and get the steal of a deal, because I know that those are spendy. Okay, so I've got the red, and we want to do this. There we go. And I really am excited to show you what I made over the weekend. So I'm trying to get, I can't wait to get to that. Oh, I need my little starter. Something just fell. All right, did we do it? We did it. Cool. All right, and then once we've got all 4 of those, then we can quickly add the sashing. So let me show you where we are. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4, and then we just need to add our sashing, which I created here. And the sashing, is it that? No, it's this. So we're going to put 1, 2, 3, 4, and then really easy peasy, we're going to do a 1.5 inch center, and then that is it. So the way I'm going to approach this is I'm going to do the top row, so these 3 pieces together, the bottom row, those 3 pieces together, the middle row, and then assemble down. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 more stitches. That's 1. I'll do it this way. This way I don't mess up my order. Uh-oh. I got the sniffles today. Okay, so that makes the top. And we're going to go back and do the bottom. And we just need our little jump starter. All right, so we are in good shape. That was 2, 4, So now we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 left to do. 5 seams. Just creating that middle sashing, and then I will be pressing to the dark. Oops. All right, so now we have our, it's come together. So we want to do a little bit of pressing, and I'm going to press, actually I think I'm going to press to the sashing side, because the center sashing won't show. I have the red behind the white, so it really shouldn't pop through. Let me do the top. All right, so we've got the top, and we've got the bottom. I love how when you iron or when you press, and you have your like sometimes your blues and your reds, they really get dark. They do a kind of a color change when you've got your iron real hot, and then it is looking so good. So we're almost to the finish line. Now we have to just make sure that I'm matching up my seams. And again, you could use your wonder clips, or you could use your pins for these. When I'm actually meeting my seams and nesting, that one didn't seem to sew all the way through, and it's wanting to go wonky. So let me finish that again. Okay, so this is the top. And I'm trying to nest those seams. But yeah, so if I'm nesting my seams, I definitely am going to use pins instead of those clips, those wonder clips, because I find that the wonder clips are good for general but not precise placement. And I want to make sure that I'm really making those kiss. All right, so we're halfway into that one, and I'm taking ever so much care to make sure everything's going to line up. And we're on our last seam. was terrible. It is so terrible. I can't with that. I would never. It is so off. It just, that's not chip work. This is terrible. You try. I thought I pinned it right. I do want to get back to the room and see what you guys are talking about. Has anybody had mail theft? I'm just thinking about my glasses again, that it's such a shame. And I'm looking on Craigslist, OfferUp, Facebook Marketplace, like where would somebody sell that kind of stuff? But here in Seattle, actually I live at Seattle adjacent, but our sheriff's department actually added a whole new mail theft officer for the USPS, and like they're not kidding around. Like nowadays, that's not good. And you think of all the sensitive mail that we get. Not to mention, you know, I feel bad. Aaron, he had some yarn that was delivered in through the USPS, and somebody helped themselves to our mail, and he didn't wind up getting that. And when we shop for, or actually when Aaron shops for yarn, he likes to go through his friends of small businesses, and you know, it's you know, they were good enough to replace it, but like they're a small business and it's expensive to post things, let alone replace things, and that just comes out of the bottom line, and it's terrible. So just make sure you guys check your mailboxes. I know that here in the States you can get an alert from the USPS when something is delivered, even if you even if the company that shipped it didn't give a notification. Like they can actually, you can sign up and say, whenever my mail is delivered, please notify me. And that hopefully will encourage us to go check the mailbox immediately. Stinker, huh? Okay, you are going to act right this time. I was talking to Brendan, and I was talking to Tracy and Yoan and the gang, and I'm like, you know what? You're gonna get warts and all when I'm sewing live. You know, I mean, like when you're having your project, and I think it's good to share, you know, the reality of piecing and sewing, because it really, you know, it's not realistic when everything goes perfect on an edited video, and I've done edited videos and there's nothing wrong with those, but this is, it's different because it's like it is showing the reality of what we all experience. Okay, so yay, that one lined up exactly where it needed to. So now you see, hey, that creates that center point just exactly the way it should. And now I have my last seam, and then we're a press, and we are done with this one. But I don't want you guys to go anywhere because I do want to show you what I made over the weekend. That's like, it's so exciting. Come on. Ooh, Fizz, my pinky is down. I don't know how that happened. I was just looking down and it was the way it was supposed to be. home stretch. Okay, Lord willing, Stuart, I won't have to pull this out. And I don't. All right, so we have got your poinsettia created, and I'm just going to give her a quick press, and we're going to call her good. I have so much lint, like quilt bling, people call it, where you have all of these loose threads. Quilt bling. I am very, very satisfied. Whew. All right, so we have one completed poinsettia. Voila. You can see it down. And I like it on point, but I'm actually gonna I'm gonna make a Christmas pillow out of this. We have 6 pillows downstairs that are bare and ready. We've taken all the Halloween pillows off, so now I've got to get in the zone and start making some holiday pillows. So there we are, good to go. All right, let's see what we've got. Okay, Rob said this weekend he discovered that if a perfectly sewn point is near a bulky seam, the seam allowance can pillow over that point and hide it. Yes, so that's what Sean and I were talking about. I actually just dialed him up on Instagram, and unannounced, of course, you know me. I'm like, does anybody else call you on Instagram and just like without warning? I'm that guy. So we were chatting about how, depending on how you lay your seams as you're pressing them, he opted to press them open per the instructions, and unfortunately it was obscuring where that point was. So this is not going to be a good example, but if I look at like this apex, this point right here, if I had pressed towards the center, and actually the directions had him on the project that he was working with, they had him pressing the seams open. And what happens is, during that process, when this white and this white are coming together, then all of a sudden that point gets hidden, and then all of a sudden when you're doing the seam lengthwise at the top, now all of a sudden you can't really see with your eye where the needle is going to hit and land. So you might actually end up lopping off that point, and that's the risk you run sometimes when you are following the directions to the letter, because in that case, when you're pressing your seams open, you're paying more emphasis on reducing bulk so that there isn't as much at the intersection, there isn't as much layers there. And so the pattern designer had him opening those seams, but then, you know, the trade-off is that you're actually hiding that point, and then you may be lopping off seams, having to unpick. So let experience tell you, or just trial and error, and like maybe make a sample block before you actually use your good fabric. But yeah, that is definitely something that I think we all struggle with. So, you know, if it's a brand new pattern to you, sometimes you really do have to just test it. So okay, yes, so if you guys are brand new to the channel, when I sew, I tend to lift my pinky as I'm holding the fabric. So that's what I was talking about earlier. And I actually managed to sew once with my pinky down instead of my pinky up. So yeah, thanks, Fizz. And you ought to call me. It's like a drinking game. Every time I sew with my pinky up, you just drink. And here's a question. So Angel asks, do you guys pin on either side of the seam or just one side? So I think I understand the question. So when you're saying, in this case, let me get rid of the comment. When you are putting together, so like let's say you're doing this intersection, I only put my pin, so again, hoping that you do have those nested seams, and I only do it where those are going to kiss and connect. I don't do a pin on either side. And that said, if it's bulky and there's a lot of layers because of that type of intersection that you're creating, sometimes it would be, you know, give yourself a lifeline and maybe do it on both sides of it. So, you know, you're taking your pins out at that very last second. And then if it's one or two layers, you may not need to pin at all. And maybe your fingers are going to feel for that intersection, and you can trust that the needle's going to hit it correctly. But yeah, I think the only time I ever do double pinning is when I'm actually working with a lot of bulk there. And actually, okay, so Tracy says both sides usually. So maybe I don't understand the question. And Yoan says, no. I don't know what that's to. Oh, ripping. Yeah, it was ripping time again. Yes. Yes, thank you, Stuart. He says, and we all think it's just us who rips out after sewing, even after pinning, and it happens to all of us. It's amazing what fabric does when matching. Even in such a short distance, it still can shift. And I will say, on my particular machine, I can change the amount of weight or force that the foot is applying to the top. The feed dogs are never, you can't change those, but I can actually change how much pressure is being applied as the fabric is advancing. And to be honest, I have never played with it. And, oh, okay, so I agree with Chip. The live stream is so important. It's a bit like instant photos. This is the reality, and we help so many people's confidence and self-esteem. So yes, you all can look like rock stars as I make a nuisance of myself. So yeah, and my Instagram game is really not good right now, and I am definitely going to, get better at it. But talking about all of my amazing friends, this is the good part. This is really what I wanted to show you, and we're doing perfect with time. So if you have not checked out Yoan over at Go Ahead and Make Me, I want you to, because his whole channel, he's been at it for a year. And Mr. Yoan is what you call a hand sewer. I like to tease him that he does his hand sewing. He did the most amazing project and released his video this past Saturday. The latest episode stimulated me. When he first started his channel, he was like, I'm going to stimulate people to want to make things. So his channel is called Go Ahead and Make Me. Please run and do it. So what I did is I made a little mini Christmas mat, and ho ho ho, it's a little Christmas tree mat, and it's red on the bottom. And so I did his make. I did a standing Christmas tree, and it turned out spectacular. I am so excited. So it's a standing Christmas tree, and I am absolutely in love with it. He is going to give you the downloadable pattern piece. So go to his website. I'm sorry. Go to his YouTube, and in the channel info, or not the channel, the video info, he's going to give you a link to the download. So I did this on cardstock, and then I used scrappy fabric. And this is actually almost like a chambray, but literally this was scraps that I had from an old project. And it's just, I just looked at that and I was like, okay, Mr. Yowen loves Delft blue ornaments and little tchotchkes for Christmas. And I was thinking, I'm not sure if this is Delft blue or not. So what blue is this? And so that's when I went to, where did I go? I went to the interwebs and I said, okay, Delft blue is actually much blue. My blue that I picked out is more close to a Wedgwood, but it is, I love, love, love this blue. And so this is more of a Wedgwood, but I made, I wish I made, I ordered a little star to go on top, and actually it fell off when it was under my desk. But I made a little, I ordered a little star, and it goes on top. Yeah, when I put it on, I was thinking about super gluing it, but I was like, okay, I have to store this sucker. So I made a little, I got a little star. There we go. You stay. So I got a little star, and then I was like, wait a minute. So we've got the little tree skirt, and then we've got the. Then I was like, okay, I'm gonna put on some miniature ornaments, and went to Chip-Is-On, and so I'm gonna put them at the little points, and there's like all of these little. They're not exactly like pastels, but they're not like, I don't know what you call them, but I'm gonna do on each of the little branches, I'm gonna put these little ornaments on, and I just think they're too cute. I ordered some red bows, and I thought when they got here, I was like, no, I'm just gonna go with these. Now, one thing that I did differently, Yowen did his, actually I did a couple of things differently, because he inspired me, and then I kind of ran with it in my own way. So he actually did it so it's more quilty, and he did from charm squares, and he made kind of a patchwork for each of the trees. And I was like, okay, I'm just gonna go the solid because of the fabric that I was working with, but he did a nice patchwork. And then he used starch, and he starched each of these pieces a couple of times to make it stand. So if you look underneath, mine actually has cosplay foam, you know, whatever foam that you guys have laying around. I have so many pieces of this this cosplay, and I got it from So Much Cosplay is the name of the company, but this is their cosplay foam. And what I love about this is that there is glue on one side, so I just apply my fabric, and then you iron it on, and then it's sewable, but it really retains its structure, and it's absolutely amazing. So no matter what, I mean, you can do whatever foam that works for you, but I think this turned out so sweet, and I wholeheartedly go check out Yowen's channel to learn how to make one. And I just love the little, the little Christmas tree skirt. Now, just to tempt you even more, last year, Yowen made a holiday wreath, and I was like, challenge accepted. He made a wreath, and it inspired me to make this wreath last year. And it's my little Santa, and I've got some bells, and then I added the embroidery for the face, And then I've got some fun fur for his beard. And all of these, where it is, all of these is just safety pins. So I was so excited. So I would say, please run to his channel and go get inspired, because he really comes up with these great projects that are like, huh, I wouldn't have even thought to do something like that, because I get so caught up in my zone. So what am I missing in the chat? So Angel, yes, you need to make one of the trees. Tracy loves it. Biz loves it. Johan says, Chip's version of my tree is da bomb, y'all. And that is so sweet, Johan. He says that wreath is better than his original. So, you know, like, I just encourage you. It's not a contest, but, you know, yeah, mine was pretty great. All right, so that is where I think where we're gonna stop. I think for Friday, I'm going to work on another Christmas block that is gonna become another pillow. This week I am gonna be working on making a pillowcase out of the poinsettia block that we made today, and turn that into our first holiday pillow. I've got a race because I have six pillows to make, so that's gonna be one down. But in the meantime, happy Monday. I hope that you guys have an excellent week ahead. And just saying, there's 26 days left till Christmas. So don't be a bah humbug. Get it in there and start making. So thanks for watching. I hope you have a great day. Bye.